Good morning, everyone. This is Sun Kim's weekly global briefing on 15th June. And as you see, the last week there are so many issues come out as a second wave of the COVID-19, and Beijing had some kind of very big problems because of from the COVID-19 also, and Iran it has some death rate tolls rises because of the COVID-19 also. The COVID-19 is now some kind of very hot issues in global market, and now there are another issues that we have to check. The problem is that the stock market, yes, the stock market really collapsed on Thursday, and now it starts to rebound. But I think, unfortunately, this week the price adjustment, I mean a very deep bear market will come this week. So we have to check it out again, and then we have to consider what we should do and what we should look at. Now we'll start from the indices and the commodities first. Now you see the all three indices, the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and the S&P 500, they all are raised on Friday. But the problem is that on the Black Thursday, they made more than 6% drops. It is a really dead drops. And then and the problem is that this week they will make another fall, very very deep fall, I think. Hopefully, maybe the IB, the internet investment banks, they can invest somehow in some areas like Nasdaq or the S&P 500. But still, there are so many possibilities to fall down again. And Dow Jones drops more than 1,800 points on Thursday, and then the Nasdaq now fell that it really surpassed the 10,000 lines, but it fell down again with more than 500 points. And the S&P 500 also, it dropped more than 200 lines and points. And what you have to see is that the VIX index is on June's future, and then the problem is that it raised on the more than 40s on Friday, not in Thursday. On Friday, it is much higher than that, and now that the VIX falls more than 12%, and the problem is that this week it will raise up again. It shows that the market is still unstable. Now we check the commodities: the gold, silver, and the platinum. They all fell, and they made some kind of box patterns. So I don't recommend to invest in gold and silvers. You have to check the silver until it's below $17. And the platinum, I'd rather recommend you to invest the platinum because it shows some kind of support lines. It really support the bottoms 2 times. Now it is almost bottom, maybe in the 819 or 20 lines. So it is very good chance. And the palladium, it raises, and the copper, so does copper. And the problem is that palladium, it shows another box patterns, and it's a high point. It is near the ceiling, so you have to check another chance when it goes down to the bottom line. And the copper on July, it shows another fall on deep fall on Thursday, just like the stock indices fall on Thursday too. And hopefully it raised more than $2.50. I mean now it is $2.61, and then I think it will raise up to $2.65. First, if there is some kind of a rebound in the stock market, but I don't think so. So you have to check the copper very carefully this week because it will reflect the gold and silver. It will reflect the stock market indices. And next is the oil. The WTI, Brent, and Dubai, they all fall from their just in the middle of the gaps that is made by COVID-19. so many liquidity. I mean the Fed issues lots of dollars in the market, and that really carries more than $40 in WTI. And the problem is that cannot overpass the big gaps of the COVID-19. So they fails again, and now it is making some box patterns around the $35 to $40 line patterns, and the Brent it will make $37 to $43 this week, I think. And Dubai oil, it is really a problem. Although they say that we will make an oil cut, but in the backyard, they still digging the oil and sell it to the global market, like Asia and also the Europe sometimes. So Dubai oil will fall again and again. Maybe it will make some kind of some box patterns between $30 to $35. And also finally, I will give you some kind of information about the rough rise on July future. It made a 2-day circuit breakers, and it fell down again, and it touched the peak on the $23, more than $23, and then it fell down again, and very steeply. So they made so it made 2 days circuit break, and the third day it made a really long tails on the upside. And now that still the future is backwardation, but it is getting stabilized. So hopefully some good news from the Asia shows some kind of increase of the rice production. So we have to check this too on this week, but hopefully the rice price can be stabilized, but this one still shows some kind of economic crisis in Asia too, maybe some from India or some from the China. And now I will check the weekly news, and I brought 3 news from Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, and Financial Times. And the Bloomberg said that cases increase in Beijing, Tokyo, and Iran death rise. COVID-19 is really very infamous for the people's lives and their lifestyle too. And especially Beijing, it has a really very critical issues because it is because the COVID-19 it occurs very near from the Zhongnanhai, the house of the President Xi, and now the market is closed, and the government, I mean the China Communist Party, they are considering to move their government to the other places. But I have no idea what they will do. They lock down the Beijing or not. But I think they won't lock down, and the Communist Party, they will move to the other places where somewhere safer than the Beijing. And Tokyo, they have problems, and still problems. Yes, I always say the problem, but I would like to give you the solution. If the Tokyo still have a problem to overcome the COVID-19 because they have no analysis systems, and also they are really struggling for to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic in Japan. And so does the Iran. Iran, after the Ramadan, the second wave will already come to the Iran again, and the death toll rises now. And the second one is the Wall Street Journal said that the frustrated stock market skeptics stick with cautious bets. So the investors like hedge funds, they are looking for they forecasted that maybe 11 or 12 quarters. I mean, more than 3 or 4 years, the U.S. economy will face some kind of recession, and so they are turned to the very defensive and very very pessimistic. They are not the pessimistic. They are going to the passive investment style. Now the third one is the Beijing braces for coronavirus second wave as city shuts market. The first COVID-19 patients comes from the Xinfadi market in Beijing, and it is very center of the Beijing. It is an old town. It is a very old area. So the government closed the market, and then now they're checking all the peoples in the old town areas, old town area resident, and whether they have the COVID-19 infected or not. And the government is now making some kind of emergency, the contingency plan to sustain some kind of governance of the China. Now we'll check the market forecast, and all three indices, in Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P 500, will face additional price adjustments this week, and the bearish market started. Yes, unfortunately, the bearish market is already started. The liquidity made its limit. It shows already the limit of its possible bullish market, and now the power is gone, and now it is time to drop the stock prices. And I think they will make some kind of 23K lines, or the between they will stop maybe around the 23 to 24K lines. Yeah, in Dow Jones. And commodities will make box patterns in general, and copper may drop again because of COVID-19 second wave. Then some cities and the states in the U.S. also have some COVID-19 second wave, and it will make their economy is much slower than they expected. So that maybe in the third quarter they will have a really terrible performances, and the stock price maybe drop again. And finally, the major three oils changed the bearish market, and then they dropped more than $3 or $4 from their peak. And the oil won't overcome the half of the gap made by the COVID-19, as I mentioned before. And so that they will make all three oil prices. They will make the box patterns. WTI will make they will make $35 to $40. Brent will make $37 to $43, and the Dubai oil, yes, Dubai oil, it will make $30 to $35, I think. Now it is higher than that. Maybe it will show much a little bit higher than it, but it will fell again because they have no way to make other money other than the oil. And finally, this week's weekly focus, and how deep and how long the stock market will face the bearish market, and that is issues. This week it will make another very steep and deep bearish market, and make the very harsh price adjustment. So everybody who has the U.S. stock, they shall be careful about this. And number two, can second wave of COVID-19 bring another recession? Unfortunately, yes. The global market has so many stimulus plans, and then it has a risk of the inflation. And the problem is that the COVID-19 is also rise again. In the McKinsey Consulting reports said that maybe in this year more than maybe around two more waves. Yes, the second wave is now, and the third wave will come this winter. Yes, so maybe in November or December, the COVID-19 will make another wave. So we have to be careful for this summer, and we have to be careful for your personal hygiene to prevent the COVID-19. And number three, will the Beijing become second Wuhan? No. I don't think so. Maybe the Beijing will make some kind of a partial lockdown of the old cities, like forbidden cities, and the old or the first circles of the first circle, and maybe the Communist Party and the presidency will move to the other safer places, and then they will also maintain their governance of the China to to sustain the economy and also not only the economy but also the political issues. So if some news come from the China, they will shake the market, but you shall not be chaotic about that, and you just take a look at what happens there, and be careful, and do not drop your stocks in the China market. And sometimes it can make some rebound, but if you already had the really good chances, good money, you already made a good money, then you have to sell more than half of your stocks, yes, and prepare your cash and then hold it tight until the end of the June. And we have to check the market until then, and it will make a really very hard roller coasting, going up and down like this. Yeah. So this is the end of the briefings, and I hope that you hold the principle safely, and I wish you a successful investment this week. And be careful that the U.S. market will make another bearish market too, and make it a very steep fall down. So be careful about this. And have a good day, and God bless you. Thank you.